Hello everybody and welcome to more Bandit Survivor, but just with a little bit less effort. And I say that, but this is starting to become the main channel, I think, because there's just so much information that's coming out just in quick succession, and we'll be going over a little bit into this video later on why everything just seems to be coming down so quickly. First we've got Survivor UK, now we have Big Brother UK, so all these social strategy shows are starting to come back, and we might see why that is. So we have Big Brother 2023 that is starting up. So Big Brother was last seen on our TV screens in 2018 and is now returned. So for anyone that doesn't know me, I am mainly specialized in Survivor. That is my bread and butter. So Big Brother, I don't know 100% about it, but I am someone that wants to get into Big Brother. Obviously, I have friends in the social strategy YouTube community like Gumball and Athanamil that talk a lot about Big Brother. So it is something that I'm excited to get to know, and obviously with it being a UK social strategy show, I'm going to support it. I'm going to make sure to be viewing it, and then potentially also do some sort of recaps down the line about it if I find it interesting enough, which I'm sure I will, because I know that the UK has been putting a lot into these social strategy shows recently. So this article is by Josh Darville. It's only the one article today because I'm a little bit tight for time, but we're going to be going over the start date, applications, and the host, all we know so far. So a lot of the information right now on YouTube particularly, people's reactions to this has been from last year, so this is a very up-to-date document. I'm literally recording this on the 31st, around the morning time, so this is less than 2 days from when this article is being posted. And it's interesting because reception to Big Brother UK has been very mixed. There's been people that are very excited for it. We finally get Big Brother back. Big Brother in the UK has been this show that's seemingly just been there forever. It's been on since 2000. And when it started up in 2000, it was this really interesting concept, almost like this experiment, if you will, to see what happens if you put strangers into a house for 6 weeks, see how they get along with each other, and obviously it led to things like arguments. But the downside that people are starting to note about Big Brother is that it leads to arguments, that there's a lot of people's flaws that are put on full display to an audience that can pick on them, and that's something that also this article does bring up. So Big Brother is coming back to UK TV this year. Here's all you need to know about the show's return in 2023. So make sure if you are interested in Big Brother, try to check it out. If you need, get a VPN. I know that a lot of individuals that watch my channel are from like America or Canada, so potentially get a VPN. Try and plug yourself into one of those main sources on the ITV or ITV Hub or ITVX, so that you're contributing towards the viewing figures. But, you know, just any sort of online reaction is going to be beneficial for Big Brother and increasing the brand here in the UK. So if you do enjoy it, make sure to also tell your friends and family about it. So the hit reality series, messed up that sentence, the hit reality series will come back after 5 years with a rebooted run on ITV2. A cast of housemates from all walks of life will be locked up in a brand new Big Brother house with cameras capturing their every move. So let's break that down. So firstly, a cast of housemates. So they talk about all walks of life, and it's interesting how diverse the casting is going to be, because Love Island, for example, and I'm going to be bringing up quite a few Love Island comparisons because that's the big UK TV show. They have been constantly critiqued for having these very similar individuals with very similar looks. They look very photogenic, they're very pretty, they talk the same usually, and they claim that they have individuals from all walks of life. So it's going to be interesting how diverse the casting is going to be for this Big Brother season. I haven't seen any of the cast. I don't think there's any information out yet about it. From Survivor, the small snippets that we've got about it, it seems to be a bit more of a diverse cast than we used to see in Survivor UK 2001, 2002. It seems to be a bit more of an age diversity, and a diversity of experiences, from my opinion, just from the small snippets that I've seen. So Again, be interesting to see diversity, because diversity is something that I feel like is very important on these social reality shows, seeing how someone interacts from a different background or a different belief comparative to someone that might have an opposite belief or a different one, and they're going to be in the Big Brother house with cameras capturing their every move. Now, I did see an article that said that they are planning on bringing in a 24-hour live stream, which will be capturing their every move, as the article says here, mainly to boost revenue, but I feel like it'll also be good for being able to generate discussion. However, the downside to that is obviously you're capturing everyone's move. There is a real lack of privacy when you have these 24-hour live streams. So tasks, nominations and live evictions will be back, as well as a cash prize for the winner. So it's going to be interesting to see what the cash prize is. Obviously, Survivor UK has maxed out the cash prize. £100,000 is the maximum you can get for these shows. However, Big Brother historically has been able to get away with lower cash prizes because it is offset by the fact that individuals that go into Big Brother can become influencers out of it. It's one of those sorts of shows. So when will Big Brother start? The new series of Big Brother was originally scheduled to launch in March 2023, however is now being confirmed to begin in autumn. So I believe there were scheduling problems that caused it to be brought to autumn, which is interesting because right now, if you have been watching my channel, I've covered several things. I've covered Survivor UK, which is coming out in autumn. I've covered Survivor the Game, which is coming out in autumn. And we have Big Brother UK, which is starting in autumn. And then there's other stuff as well, like Survivor 45, which hasn't had a start date specifically designed yet. But we know it's going to be autumn as well. So there's just going to be so much in autumn. It's going to be quite crazy. But I feel like this is a good strategy for the UK, where obviously they've seen the success of the Traitors in the UK. Traitors is something that has been sort of taking over worldwide, like for example in America, in the US, it's been quite successful with the likes of Suri and Stephanie LaGrusa. We have other social strategy shows that are starting to rise up, like The Circle. So it feels like the UK are just going ham at it. They're trying to bring all these social strategy shows back to really get talks generated about it and to be able to bring an audience in about it. So that's why we have Survivor starting and why we have Big Brother starting. So it seems like they're really starting to explore the social strategy world more, and it is interesting that they're bringing them out. Again, this was going to be about 6 months before Survivor. Now it's going to be around the same time, so it'll be interesting if that creates a conflict or if the two can work together, because Survivor and Big Brother, they are social strategy shows. They are fundamentally pretty similar in the fact that you have to make social connections or strategy, obviously with nominations, HOH, but they're sort of at very different ends of the spectrum. Survivor is sure a social strategy show, but then you think about the other tags you put into Survivor. It's a survival show where you have to survive on an island, you have to find food, you have to win these reward challenges. It's very much more targeted at the survival aspect and getting by on a remote island, whereas Big Brother, I don't know if I can say this word, but it's a little bit more trashy TV. Like, it's a bit more Love Island in a sense. You have individuals that are in a house. They're obviously, comparative to Survivor, a bit more well pampered. This, I think, will synergize a lot better with what we're seeing right now in the UK mainstream, which is the likes of Love Island and these dating shows, or these shows where you put individuals in a villa or a house. So Big Brother does have synergy with that, and that's why it's sort of, even though they're both social strategy shows, Survivor is basically at one end of the spectrum and then Big Brother's at the other end of the spectrum, in my opinion at least. Although no exact start date has been revealed yet, it's understood to begin in October. So October time will be beginning. I have heard rumblings that also Survivor UK will be starting in October, so a lot of information. If I'm going to be doing recaps of Big Brother and Survivor UK on the channel, it's going to be interesting. Not looking forward to my schedule, especially with Survivor 45 coming up. So the new series will air nightly for 6 weeks on ITV2 and the new streaming service ITVX, so make sure to check it out. Now, who will be hosting? I know this was a big what if, particularly around July, and then it died down a little bit, and then we heard rumblings around December and January, and now we're finally getting an insight into who is going to be hosting. So after plenty of rumours, AJ Odudu and Will Best have been officially announced as the new hosts of Big Brother. I know there's individuals that are saying Ryland Clark could be returning, so this will be an interesting duo to see as the hosting main of Survivor UK. Not Survivor UK, Big Brother UK, got Survivor in my brain. They'll host both the main show and a nightly spin-off, which is probably going to be Big Brother's bit on the side, presiding over the weekly evictions and quizzing housemates on all of the going-ons in the world's most famous house. So, let's look at the hosts. So, these two I'm not super familiar with. I am more familiar with AJ Odudu, and I'll get into why. But Will Best is someone that I really haven't seen much of his work. I know that he's the lesser known of this duo. A lot more people would know AJ. But Will Best, he has been a presenter on TV. He has featured on talent shows before, so he is someone that is going to be very familiar with cameras. He's going to know his lines well. He's going to be a very charismatic and entertaining individual, and I don't think he's going to be nervous about the role, which is good. And obviously, as we'll see, he's very excited for the job. AJ, I know a little bit more. She is a bit more well known in mainstream. Obviously, the big thing that she's known for is Big Brother's on the side, so she already has experience in being able to host these Big Brother shows. She's going from the side to now the main show, and also she has been a host on other shows. She has done very well on other TV shows, particularly Strictly Come Dancing 2021, where she did a fantastic job. And I also saw her have an interview on Loose Women about Big Brother, and it's so cute. Like, literally every other sentence she says is how excited she is about being a Big Brother host. Like, she's so energetic about it, she's so passionate about Big Brother, and she's someone that, again, just talks so highly about the show, talked very highly about Will. I'm sure the two will have great synergy, and as we're starting to see throughout this article, we'll get to it, I think it talks about it later on, they're trying to bring in a different demographic for Big Brother. So they don't specifically say, but I assume that's sort of like my demographic, like individuals that are in their mid-teens, late teens, early 20s and mid-20s. That might be the target demographic of the show, which I think is a good idea, bringing in a new audience. Obviously, you'll have individuals from the 2010s that watch Big Brother, they'll be returning to watch this show, that you're going to have back innately. So I think it's a good idea to target it at a new generation and try and bring them into the show, alongside individuals that are just naturally going to be invested in the show. So AJ said, I'm so excited to finally be able to say yes, that I am hosting Big Brother. I couldn't be happier. And Will said, I grew up with Big Brother, so getting a chance to host it with my mate AJ is a dream come true. I can't wait to tell some housemates not to swear. So the two have great synergy. They seem very friendly. They talk very highly of each other. So I would say that they are two individuals that are very fitting for the job. I think they'll do a good job. AJ, I know a little bit more, so I'm a lot more sure that she'll do a better job. Will, I don't know as much, but from what I've seen, he seems like he's very capable. It's just because I don't know Will Best as much. So will there be a live feed? There's good news for superfans of BB UK if reports are to be believed. The Sun newspaper claims that the show's iconic live feed will be back. It allows fans to tune in and watch the housemates 24/7 through the series, and was a big part of the show in its earlier years. Further details are to be confirmed. So I believe a Sun exec said that they think it would be a good boosting for revenue, and obviously it's going to be generating conversation. Always. There is a bit of an issue, of course, with it being a 24/7 feed, is the lack of privacy. I know that's something that Big Brother has been critiqued about, but I think it is going to be generating conversation, and at least from the reality TV show format, I think it'll be a big benefit and a boon for the show. So how to apply? So applications for the new series of Big Brother are open now. You need to be at least 18 years old and be available for 8 weeks next spring. So it is filmed over 6 weeks in total, but there's like a week for pre-press and travel, and then the week after it ends for obviously press and traveling back. ITV ask, we're looking for the nation's most interesting, funny and entertaining characters from all walks of life. Think you have what it takes to be a great housemate. If you want an amazing experience, a chance of winning an incredible amount of money, we'd love to hear from you, so you can fill out that application. So the closing dates have been passed, but I'm sure this site will be relaunched for the 2024 edition, so keep your eyes out for that. And then we have talks just about the Antique Roadshow. So let's go do this about Big Brother, because it's quite interesting, because Big Brother was shut down in 2018 and was axed for two main reasons. So firstly was that it did a bit of channel swapping. It got swapped between, I think, Channel 4 and Channel 5, and that the show that the channel that it eventually ended up on clearly didn't really like Big Brother, and I think there was also issues about advertising about it. It was a bit inconsistent. There wasn't as much talk generated from the channel in terms of advertising as there maybe should have been. But then number two, there's also the social aspect of it and the social media aspect of it. And this kind of goes back to what we're talking about in the UK, is the aftercare and caring for the contestants, caring for the hosts. When Big Brother started in the 2000s, I'm actually going to grab some water. When the Big Brother started in 2000s, you didn't have social media. It wasn't as big as it was when Big Brother was near the end of its lifetime in the UK, and as it is now. Now it is just absolutely massive. Like, if you were a contestant, all you really had to worry about was the tabloids and newspaper, which still was a lot. They said some obviously very hurtful things, but you would feature on it for a day. A 50-page newspaper, you might get one page, and then there's like 49 other stories in there. Whereas now in social media, people are going to be picking out your flaws, and they're going to be talking about them constantly. I think we just have to remember, if you are watching this channel, that these are human beings that are going on the show. Everybody's not perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. That's watching it. And this is a format that will expose flaws, and you are going to be seeing negative traits of individuals. So just recognize that if you do see a negative trait in some individual, don't harass them and make fun of them for it. And just understand that they are individuals like us. And that's why I got axed in 2018 on top of obviously per ratings and scheduling and such. But it was because the fan opinions were very toxic. There was a lot of bullying, there was a lot of racism, there was a lot of negativity, and it just became an extremely toxic show, which is a bit of a worry coming back into this, because the difference between Big Brother and Survivor is that even this 2023 version that's coming out is that you have parts of it where obviously the fans get to vote and they get to have their say, they get to have these eviction says, and they're going to have a say on individuals, and that is going to make it a lot more toxic than, say, Survivor, where the whole thing's just being pre-recorded, and it doesn't matter if a fan's watching the show or not. We already know the winner, we already know what happened. So for this, it is going to spark a lot more of debate in the community innately, because you have people arguing over who to evict, for example. And in 2018, there was a lot of criticism about the way that fans were responding to the show. They were treating some contestants absolutely poorly. I know Jane Goody, I think, back in around the late 2000s, early 2010s, she was treated very negatively. She was called like a pig by some media outlet. So there is obviously the concern that Big Brother UK could be sparking this whole new generation of negativity, and that we could see even worse responses to what we see in Big Brother comparative to 2017 and 2018, where particularly it was getting really bad. However, I am optimistic a little bit. Obviously, we've seen that there's been movements in the past 5 years. Again, the last time we've seen this is 2018. There's been a lot more movements. There's been a lot more discussion, particularly around marginalized groups, minority groups, and having their voice heard. Obviously, we still have a ways to go, but it feels like human rights are starting to get a bit better now in the modern landscape, and that people are starting to become a bit more accepting of other individuals' views and opinions that might not necessarily match their own. So that is a bit of benefit coming into this show. Obviously, we have the Caroline Flack situation, so hopefully that also impacts fans, and that they acknowledge the negativity and the darkness that can come from these reality TV seasons from a hosting perspective, and also being a contestant. And then finally, I was going to make another point, and oh yes, obviously the aftercare, I talk about it quite a bit, how people from Love Island, for example, a couple of years ago were talking about how the aftercare wasn't good, about how, you know, you were on the show and then you came off the show and there wasn't that great aftercare. There were people that were feeling, for example, like suicidal and such, and they didn't really get the appropriate care that they needed. But we're in 2023 where I think that obviously Survivor has made strides to ensure, like Survivor in the US and Big Brother in the US has made strides to ensure that the contestants have more appropriate aftercare. I'm hoping that's the same for the UK, so as a result these contestants can be able to have the support network that they need when they go into a reality TV show, because unfortunately that's something that just as a community and as, you know, humans we don't really talk about, is that when you go on these reality TV shows there is going to be a lot of pressure and people messaging you very hurtful things, and a lot of your negatives and things that you feel self-conscious about are just going to be exposed, and there's unfortunately individuals out there that will be saying nasty things about it. So hopefully with this Big Brother UK they can be able to crack down on that and be able to provide us with a good season. And I'm very interested in the cast. Obviously when cast reveals happen I'll be talking about them as well as with Survivor UK, but let me know your comments down below because that'll be quite interesting. Obviously I don't know everything about Big Brother, so if there is like a history to Big Brother that I haven't brought up, if there is any stories that you feel like I should have brought up but haven't, make sure to comment them down below and I'll be sure to check them out so that I'm learning a bit more about the history of Big Brother UK as well. But thank you all for watching this video. If you did enjoy, make sure to subscribe so you're notified about all these videos, about the new social reality TV shows that we're getting here in the UK, as well as other things Survivor related and just general information. And also you can check out this video, you can check out about Survivor the game, a game that's coming to the Switch, PlayStation, Xbox. You can check it out and potentially be able to play it for yourself in 2 months' time. But thank you all for watching this video. Peace!